Welcome to this yoga stretch class. This class is especially good if you've done a high intensity workout using your legs, and it's going to help stretch out all those muscles through the backs of the legs, also through the thighs, and really open up through the hips. So what you're going to need, of course, is a mat of some description or a towel. You can just throw it on the ground. We've got maybe a strap, a belt, a tie, a scarf, something that's long that you can use for one or two of the stretches. I've got with me a couple of jars which I'm going to use as blocks, so if you have something similar that would be really good. And I've also got a rolled up towel which we may use, so these are some items that you might want to have on hand for the class today. So grab your things and let's head onto the mat. Alright, so we're going to start with the legs out, so sitting up. And just take your hands behind your back. So we want to squeeze the shoulders back a little, open up through the chest, and we've got the legs out in front, so we're just going to breathe in. And as we breathe out, I want you to pull your toes back, and that's going to stretch through the calves and connect into the belly. So breathe in, we want to point the toes forwards, breathe out, pull the toes back, and you're pushing your heels forward, so trying to lengthen the back of the leg. Breathe in, point the toes. Breathe out, pull the toes back. Inhale, point. Let's do 8 a little faster. So 1 and 2. Chest is still lifting. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. All right, and let your legs wobble. So I just went for a run before this class, so I think I need this stretch just as much as you do. All right, so let's turn the right knee out to the side. So your right foot is cupping the inner edge of your left knee. All right, so the left leg is straight, and I really want you to pull those toes back. So again, we're getting the length through the underside of the leg. And hands interlace here at the chest. Take a breath in, and exhale there. Just soften the shoulders. Take another breath in. And this time as you exhale, extend your hands towards your foot, stretch over the straight leg. Breathe in, come back up, and exhale going forwards. Push the hands, maybe your hands go past the foot. If they don't, just keep pressing them towards the foot. Inhale, come back, exhale, lengthen. So as you're doing this, you're pulling the toes back, still pushing the heel forwards. Breathe in, come up. Let's do 6 a little faster. So 1, and 2, and draw the belly in as you go forwards. 3, 4, toes are still back. 5, with the breath, and exhale. 6, and coming up. So swap the legs over. So left knee now out to the side. Right leg is straight with the toes back. Hands again interlace. Take a breath in here, and just exhale. Soften the shoulders. Big breath in. And exhale, slowly extending forwards. Just see how far you can go. Breathe in, come up. Exhale, forwards. Extend through the palms towards the foot. Inhale, one more slowly. Exhale, forwards. Push the heel away on the straight leg. Breathe in, up, and 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then coming up. All right, so legs go out, give them a bit of a shake. We're going to bend both knees up now. So knees are squeezing, shoulders are back, chest is forwards. So imagine there's a zipper going up from the inner edges of your big toes, up the inner legs all the way into your belly. All right, so keeping them squeezed together strongly. Take a breath in. And breathe out. Take the knees to one side. Keep the sides of the feet together and pull the shoulder back. Breathe in, come up. Exhale, knees go the other way. Pull the opposite shoulder back. So lovely big twist. Inhale, come up. Exhale, knees going over. Breathe in, up. Exhale, knees go across. Breathe in, up. Let's do 6 faster. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Lovely, coming back to center. Good. All right, just shake out your arms, let that go. We're going to roll over onto the hands and the knees now. So hands are under shoulders, knees are under hips. Try and plug down through your arms and just draw the belly button in slightly. So take a breath in, And as you exhale, arch the back up, tuck the head under, squeeze through the belly button. And then breathe in, go the other way. So lift the head, lift the throat. So just gently squeezing the back as you stretch through the front. Exhale, draw it up. Tuck the head under, plug through the arms. Inhale, go the other way, lift the head, lift the throat. Holding the breath in as you squeeze into the back. Exhale, drawing up, squeezing up, hold the breath out. Inhale the other way, lift, look up. Hold it in, see if you can lift the chest more, push through the hands. And then exhale, squeezing, lifting. And then coming back to neutral. Alright, so we're just going to gently stretch the back of the legs here. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, just take your right foot away, tuck the toes in, and push out through the heel, and keep the arms nice and tall. So press down through the hands. Inhale, bring the knee back. Exhale, left toes, push into the floor, push through the heel. Feel the back of the leg stretch. Inhale, come back. Exhale, right leg, toes tucking in, heel pressing away. Inhale, come down. Exhale, left leg. Good, and then coming back. And again, just shake out the hands for a moment. Give the hands a couple of circles just to loosen the wrist joint, and then go the other way. Lovely stuff. All right, so we're going to go up into a down dog. So let's come back onto the hands and knees. Now if down dog's too strong for you, then just go back to doing this stretch, alternating each leg, like we just did. If you want to go to down dog, that's great. We're going to tuck the toes in to the floor, knees are hip width, feet are hip width. And just with the hands, just take them about a handprint in front of you, just in front of the shoulders there. Alright, so we're gripping down through the fingertips, tucking in through the toes. Take your breath in, and exhale, we take the bottom up and away. So we're looking back between the legs. We can have the knees bent to start with, and then we can just breathe out, push one heel to the floor, breathe in, bend the knees, exhale, press the other heel down. We keep lengthening the spine, so plug through the arms, breathe in, bend the knee, exhale, extend the other heel into the floor, breathe in, bend the knee, exhale the other one, breathe in, let's try both heels extending out, inhale, bend, and breathe out. And maybe we can hold there for a couple of breaths, looking back between the knees, arms along, tailbone stretching away, belly squeezing, holding us, pushing through the heels. Lovely. All right, and then let's come back down. Good. We're going to walk the knees through and just roll onto your back for a moment. Have a little rest. So we don't need to work ourselves too hard. If you've done the workout already, then we don't want to overdo it with the stretching either. We want to make sure that we relax and rest between the stretches. So nice deep breaths here. Try and let the body relax into the floor. So I'm still quite hot. I went for a run, I've had a shower, I got changed, and I'm here doing this class now, and I'm still feeling quite warm just from holding that down dog. Lovely stuff. A couple more breaths, just relax into the floor. Good stuff. Alright, so let's come back to knees bent, and we're just going to take the right leg across the left knee. So it's like you're crossing your legs. Now you might want to grab your strap or belt, whatever you've got. For this one, we're going to take, this is the right leg in front of us, we're going to take the right hand through and lift the left foot up, and we want to reach around over the top of the left knee. Now if you can't reach, or you're reaching and your head is off the floor, then use your belt, whatever you've got, and just loop that over that knee, and we can pull the knee in using the belt. Okay? If you are using your hands, then I'd like you to hold over the top of the knee, not underneath the thigh. Okay, so on top of the left knee, we're holding with the hands or with the belt. And we're just going to breathe here for a few breaths. So chin is tucking into the chest and the neck is long. And we're pulling the left knee towards the left chest. Now it's really important you don't pull the left knee across your body. A lot of people tend to do that when they start to roll over to the side. So left knee to the left chest, not to the center or across to the right. Keep the breath moving in and out. And then with your right foot that's in front of you, pull the toes back. And you're just going to feel a deeper stretch through the hip and the buttock and the thigh maybe. Couple more breaths. As you exhale, lengthen through the tailbone. Keep the face soft. This can be quite strong, so just feel how you're feeling. We don't want to create pain. If there's pain, then back off. Discomfort is okay. Pain, not so much. So just listen to what your body is telling you. Couple more breaths. We really just want to hold and soften into it. So the longer we hold, the more the body starts to relax into the stretch. Couple more breaths, squeezing the left knee in, maybe closer. We don't want the bottom to lift up though, so the bottom is still extending away from us. Pulling the toes back on your right foot in front of you. Exhale, squeeze the left knee in a little more if you can. Couple more breaths. Just enjoying that stretch through the right hip and buttock. One more breath in and out gently. Good, alright, and then release and let that go. We want to feel the rest. We really want to feel the softness that comes into those muscles after the stretch. So we're not just going to go straight to the other side. We want to feel and breathe and acknowledge what we've just done. Let the bottom soften. You might feel warm in the buttock there. It might feel a bit different to the other side that we haven't stretched yet. Good, alright, and then let's bend the knees up. Take your left ankle across the right thigh. We're going to reach through the left hand through that hole and reach over and hold over the top of the right knee. So again, if you need your belt, then use your belt, loop it over the knee and use that to pull the knee to the chest. Okay? Remember, we're not holding under the thigh, we're holding over the knee. Lovely. So chin is tucking in, neck is long. Checking that the right knee is coming towards the right side of the chest. We don't want it to drift over to the center or to the left. So keep it in line with the chest on the right. And then see if you can pull your toes back on the left foot, the foot in front of your face. The other foot can just hang. Nice, steady, deep breaths here. Just feeling how this side compares to your other side. If you have a harder side, which most of us generally do, you can always go back and do the harder side a little later. I always say that in the hope that someone might actually do that. So maybe you will. Maybe you'll go back and do a few more a few more breaths, maybe 5 to 10 breaths on your harder side. You can pause the video and then take that little break to do a few more breaths on your hard side. Keep squeezing the right knee in, pulling the toes back on your left foot. Right knee towards the right chest, chin tucking in towards the chest. Couple more breaths. Softening as you breathe out. Really nice long hold. One more breath in and out. And then we're going to release and let that go. And just straighten your legs, let your arms come by your sides. Turn your palms up beside you. And again, just have a little rest. Take a breath or two here. Feel the buttocks soften. And as we do that, the head starts to relax, the brain, the mind switches off a little more. We stop overthinking. Just enjoying that serenity through the body. Lovely stuff. Alright, so let's bend the knees up. We're going to interlace the hands behind the head, shoulders and elbows on the floor. If your shoulders are really tight and the elbows are lifting, then you can take your arms out with the palms down, hands in line with shoulders, not above, but just in line. But if we can, we keep the hands interlaced. Alright, so take a breath in, knees are squeezing. Exhale, we go to the right again, so knees together, push that top hip across. Breathe into center. Exhale, knees go the other way, pushing the top hip over. Inhale up, let's do 8 of those. So 1, knees together, 2, feet stay side by side, 3, 4, inhale up, exhale, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Lovely, coming all the way back to center. And reach around, grab your knees, just hold both knees for a moment. Take a breath, soften the belly as you breathe out. Good, and then we want to lift the head and rock and roll along the spine a few times. So see if you can. If you can't rock and roll, then just roll to your side and come up any way you can. Alright, so we're going to come onto the hands and knees again. Now I'm going to get my jars ready because I'm not going to use them for this next little bit. And you might want to have something ready too, just in case. So we're on the hands and knees. And we're going to bring the right foot in front. So kind of like a lunge position. Alright, so we'll just stay here for a moment. We'll tuck the back toes in and we're going to come up and just rest your hands on your right thigh. So we're lifting up through the spine, just pushing back through that heel so we're getting a little stretch through the calf there. And then we're just going to sink down. Now with this front leg, you can slide the foot forward slightly so that the knee stays over the heel and doesn't come over. We don't want to be coming over the toes too much, although that is quite a good stretch there. Just see how you go though. So toes tucking in the back there, lunging forwards, tall through the spine. Nice deep breath. Draw the belly inwards slightly so we're not sort of sagging. We want to stay nice and tall. Good. Alright, and then we're going to come back and we want to slide this foot forwards into this runner's lunge. So this is where you might want to have your jars, whatever you've got, so you can just allow the body to stretch. So some of us have poor lower back flexibility and we can't lean forwards, so you can hold on to something so that you're not compromising the spine or creating tension in the body. If you can get to the floor, then fingers to the floor. And just some nice deep breaths. And letting the crown of the head stretch forwards and lengthen away. And you're going to feel this in the back of the right buttock there. So a few breaths here. Toes are pulling back at the front, so make sure you're pushing the heel away. So again, the longer we hold and breathe, the softer the body becomes. You might find that after a while you can get your palms to the floor. Keep lengthening through the spine, pulling the toes back on the foot in front of your face there. Good, alright, and then coming up, slide the foot back in. Again, you might want to grab your props if you've got some. Tuck the back toes in. So we're still in this lunge type position. We're going to lift. So we're coming up and straightening through the back leg. And then we want to straighten the front leg as well. Okay, so we're resting maybe with the hands on our little props that we've got nearby. Or if you can get your fingertips to the floor. Okay, whatever works for you. Now this is where the rolled up towel might come in handy. We can slide that under the toes. So that's going to elevate the toes a little bit. And we can just hold and breathe here. So again, trying to lengthen through the spine. Squeeze the belly as you breathe out. If you're using your blocks either side, that's great. Just press the hands through. Actually feels quite nice. It allows the spine to lengthen. Yeah? So if we're struggling to touch the floor and reach the fingers to the floor, then the spine will sort of sink down and it's going to compromise this front leg as well. So nice deep breaths. And, you know, it's really just about listening and tuning into your body. So yoga isn't about, you know, being the most flexible person on the planet. It's just about mindfully moving and feeling and connecting. It's that connection that we're after. So a couple more breaths here. Press down through your back heel. Lengthen through the spine. Plug your hands down either into the floor, into your blocks or whatever you've got either side of you. Squeeze the belly in as you breathe out. Good, and let's bring the left knee back down. We'll take that away. Stuff, and I'm just going to move the towel away too, and then coming back onto the hands and knees, and we'll just curl up into a child's pose for a few breaths. So we've just stretched through that side, so now we're just going to hang here for a breath or two. Good, alright, and then curl yourself up. Coming back onto the hands and knees, we're going to bring the left foot in front now, into that lunge. Bring the hands onto the left thigh, sinking into that. Let's tuck the toes in at the back there. Push out through that back heel. Lift tall through the spine, belly squeezing in. Nice stretch through this hip flexor at the back there. Good. Alright, and then we're going to take the bottom back, coming through, front foot, the toes pull back. Again, you might want to grab your props, hold on to them, plug through the arms. So we're stretching through the back of the left buttock, the back of the left thigh. If you can, bring the fingertips to the floor or palms are flat, whatever you can do. You just make sure that we're lengthening through the spine still. We're squeezing the belly in and we're not letting this front leg sag. We want to pull the toes back. Nice deep breaths. So just taking this time to connect to your breathing, connecting to the sensation in your body, whether that's good or bad or comfortable or uncomfortable, that's really by the by. We just want to feel, acknowledge, and allow the muscles to lengthen as we stretch and hold and breathe. to bring that foot back in. We're going to get our props, towel, tuck it under that front foot, and then we're going to press up, push the back heel in towards the floor, straighten through that front leg so your toes are elevated on that rolled up towel. We can press down through the hands into the blocks that we have either side of us. Squeeze the belly in. Nice deep breaths here, just holding. Again, try to lengthen through the spine, so crown of the head is stretching forwards. Push down through the back heel. Nice deep breaths. Belly squeezing in. Good, alright, and then gently coming all the way back down. Take your props away. And again, we'll just do a little child's pose. So curling up into a ball, hands down by the feet. If your head doesn't get to the floor comfortably, you can rest your head on 2 fists, one on top of the other. Couple of deep breaths. Let your bottom sink towards your heels. And then slowly curling up through the spine. We're going to take the legs out in front now. Good stuff. Alright, so we're going to use our belt again. So we're now just going to stretch out through the backs of the legs, and you're going to grab your belt and just loop it over the balls of the feet. So not on the arch, okay, just above the arch and just below the toes, okay. And we're going to hold with one hand either side. So don't hold them in one hand either side. And try and slide your hands as close to your feet as you comfortably can to start with, without hunching over. So we want to lift up nice and tall through the spine, squeeze the belly in, shoulders are low, we're not hunching up the shoulders, so try and soften the shoulders down and back. Spine is tall, chin is tucking in slightly. Because we're holding the belt, the toes are pulling towards us, and you're going to feel that through the backs of the legs. Alright, so we can stay here. If that's already a strain or a struggle, stay here, absolutely fine. If you think you can go a little further, keeping the toes back, take a breath in, and as you exhale, we draw the belly forwards, keeping the spine tall. You might want to slide your hands up the belt. And we just keep drawing the belly towards the thighs, keep lengthening through the spine, keep pulling the toes back, so using the hands on the belt. Nice deep breaths, push through the heels, so heels pushing forwards and away. Keep sliding the hands up the belt if you can, if you've got space. Otherwise just bend your elbows in. Couple more breaths. Spine is lengthening, so we don't want to do this where we're curling over and under. So spine is tall, back of the legs are long, belly squeezing, pulling belly to thighs. Soft shoulders, toes back, belly softening, push through the heels. So some of you might even be able to reach over the toes onto the feet there. Keep lengthening, keep lifting through the spine. A little bit longer. Push the heels forwards and away, pull the toes back a little bit more. Nice deep breaths. One more breath in and out. And then gently release. And we're going to lie down. Gently, gently let that go. Take the legs out straight. Let your arms relax. Again, just take a moment and feel. It might feel a bit strange after stretching out through the back of the body. But just breathe gently. Soften as you exhale. So we're trying to relax the body. If you've done physical work, so it's the yin and the yang. The yang is the physical exertion of the workout that you may have done earlier in the day or just before this class. And we want to balance that with the yin. So normally a yoga class would be a balance of both in that class. But this class is very much just the yin relaxing side of things, so that we can calm the body and calm the mind, get the nervous system nice and relaxed, and the muscles can soften as well and relax. And we want to bring lots of oxygen into the body, so deep breaths help improve the flow of oxygen, of course, through breathing, bringing oxygen into the body, and also breathing out, getting rid of the waste products of the body as well. So making sure we release through the out breath and let go of what we don't need anymore. Lovely stuff. Alright, so we want to squeeze into the back a little bit just after we opened it before. So what we're going to do is we're just going to bend the knees up and have the feet just slightly apart. Have the knees slightly apart, but we don't want the knees to flop outwards. So we want to keep pressing through the heels and the big toes. The feet aren't turning out, so make sure your feet are parallel. Alright, so and we're going to stretch the arms above the head. So we want to open up the chest, get the lungs active. So arms are reaching above you. If you can't do that because of your shoulders, then you can take the arms out to the sides, or if you need to, hands down by hips. Up to you. Ideally, you want to keep the arms long and stretch through the fingertips. So fingers are together, don't spread the fingers wide. Alright, so fingers stretching, arms are stretching. Also, hands aren't together, so make sure the hands are shoulder width. Chin is tucking to the chest. Just take a breath in there. And then exhale. Take another breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to lift the hips up off the floor, so squeezing gently into the back. Breathe in, come all the way down, really gently and slowly. Exhale, we lift up, keep the chin tucking in, squeeze into the back, knees are just slightly drawing inwards. Inhale, coming all the way down, 2 more like that. Exhaling, up we go, fingertips are reaching, back is squeezing, push through the heels and the big toes into the ground. Inhale, coming all the way down. Last one, and exhaling, up we go. And let's just see if we can hold here for about 4 or 5 breaths, so not too long. Arms are still reaching. Belly is still lifting, bottom is squeezing, big toe pressing down into the floor, heels are pressing down, bringing some power and strength into the back of the body. 1 more breath in and out, and then very gently curl the bottom back. We're going to just reach around, pull the knees in gently towards the chest. And you can rock side to side a couple of times. And then just find some stillness. Shoulders soft, belly soft. Alright, and then head lifts again, rocking and rolling a couple of times. And we're going to come up to sitting. Alright, so again, you might want to grab your rolled up towel for this bit and just pop it under your bottom. So you're sitting a little bit raised up if you want. Otherwise you don't have to. We're going to take the knees wide and bring the soles of the feet together. And what we want to do is interlace the fingers and just hook them under the little toe side of the foot. So this can be a real struggle. Some of us might be up here. That would be when I would suggest you get something to sit on. Okay, so your bottom is a little bit high off the floor and propped up. And we just want to sit nice and tall. If it is a real struggle to hold the feet, then what you can do instead is just take your hands behind you and lift up through the spine that way. Okay, if it's too much of a struggle to hold the feet. Okay, so a couple of deep breaths here, lifting up through the spine. See if the shoulders can roll down the back. We want to feel as if the knees are drawing down towards the floor slightly. So squeeze into the pelvic floor area. Soften the shoulders, soften the face. For those that want to go a little bit further, we can take a breath in and exhale, pulling ourselves forwards over the feet. The elbows are going to spread out to the sides. The elbows can even press down on the calves slightly if we want to. And we can just hold and breathe there. So opening up through the hips. I'll show you what this looks like from the side view. So holding. So we don't want to arch the spine. We want to keep the spine long. Chin is slightly tucking in. So if this is too much for you, then go back to just having the hands behind and lifting that way. Whatever you need to do. A couple more breaths here. So you can use those elbows to press the legs down into the floor, feeling that stretch through the hips and the buttocks. Shoulders are soft, spine is long. Extending a little bit more forwards if you can. And then gently coming all the way back up. Just draw those legs together. Give them a little wobble. Good stuff. So you can either lie down on your back and just rest in Shavasana for a few minutes, or if you want to just finish kneeling, you can as well, or sitting cross-legged, whatever's comfortable. So we're just bringing the hands into the lap, closing the eyes, or if you're lying on the floor, just have your legs out with your arms beside you, palms up, and just taking a few breaths and let the body soften and relax. Just take a moment to acknowledge the effort that you've just made in taking the time to really stretch and relax your whole body, especially the legs and the hips, calves, the thighs, and feeling the release as a result of that beautiful long stretch. And take a big breath in, exhale, and just bowing, acknowledging the effort you've made in the class. And thank you so much.